Amara Whitfield did not scream when she found the passport. She stood barefoot in the marble foyer of her father's mansion, rain dripping from her hair, her hands shaking around the document she had protected for months. But the page that mattered was gone. No visa sticker, no stamped approval, only a torn edge where someone had ripped away the future she had fought for. Across the room, beneath the chandelier, Celeste Whitfield adjusted a diamond bracelet and said softly, "Amara, calm down before you embarrass this family." Amara looked up through tears. "Where is it?" Celeste never looked cruel. She looked elegant, controlled, almost kind. "Where is my visa?" Amara asked again. From the staircase, Brielle Whitfield came down in a cream blouse, holding Amara's brown document folder. That folder had her admission letter, scholarship confirmation, sponsorship papers, bank statements, medical clearance, and every document for the student visa that was supposed to send her to London in 3 weeks. Brielle smiled like someone stepping into a dress that was never meant for her. Celeste finally turned. "Your opportunity was wasted on you." 2 years earlier, Amara had believed hard work could protect her. She woke every morning at 5:10, before the housekeepers arrived, before her father's driver entered the courtyard, before Celeste floated downstairs in perfume and pearls. Amara sat at the kitchen island with scholarship essays and a cracked laptop. The mansion had 12 bedrooms, but none of it felt like hers. Her father, Marcus Whitfield, owned a construction company. People called him self-made. In interviews, he spoke about legacy and family values. At home, he avoided hard conversations. "Dad, I got shortlisted for the International Futures Scholarship," Amara told him one morning. Marcus looked up from his phone. "That's good, sweetheart. It covers most of tuition. I still need proof of living expenses and a sponsor letter. Send the requirements to Celeste. She handles documents better than I do. I wanted to talk to you first." "I know. But your stepmother keeps the family paperwork organized." That was how Celeste gained power, not through shouting, through systems. She knew where every birth certificate was kept, which bank letters were valid, and which embassy website updated appointment slots at midnight. She made herself useful until everyone depended on her. "It should make you careful," Dr. Carter replied. "Immigration documents are not casual papers. Keep copies. Scan everything. Know your deadlines. Never hand originals to anyone unless the embassy or an official office requires it." Dr. Carter's warning flashed in Amara's mind. Documents are power, and originals should never disappear into someone else's hands. She had ignored the fear because family was supposed to be safe. Dr. Carter leaned forward. "And ask questions when something feels wrong. Confusion is where people get controlled." When Westbridge accepted her in March, Amara cried in the school bathroom. The email offered admission to the Global Education and Development Program. 2 weeks later, the scholarship committee confirmed 70% tuition support. "To Amara," he said. "First Whitfield to study abroad." "So she gets London," Brielle said, "and I'm stuck here?" "I worked for this," Amara said. Brielle laughed. "You worked because you have nothing else." "She did work hard," Celeste said. "But opportunity should strengthen the family, not divide it." The visa process began in April. Amara gathered her passport, admission letter, scholarship contract, accommodation proof, health screening, sponsorship letter, bank statements, travel insurance, and visa fee receipt. She created digital folders, printed copies, and labeled each sleeve. Celeste smiled from behind him. "I'll prepare the final packet. Embassies are strict about order." "Of course," Celeste said. "But your father's financial papers involve private accounts." Marcus cleared his throat. "Let Celeste help. It's easier." The embassy interview was scheduled for May 18th. Amara wore her navy dress, carried her folder, and answered every question honestly. Why Westbridge? Who would sponsor her? Whether she understood student visa rules? She explained everything clearly because she had earned everything honestly. 3 weeks later, an email arrived. Her passport and decision documents were ready for collection. Celeste appeared at the doorway. "Collection requires identification, doesn't it?" "Yes, I'll go tomorrow." "I have a meeting near the center," Celeste said. "I can collect it for you. Less stress. Thank you," she said, "but I should collect my own passport." The next day, Amara collected the sealed package herself. Inside was her passport with a temporary entry visa, valid for her travel window. That evening she showed Marcus. First, Celeste insisted the passport be placed in the family safe, because travel documents can be stolen. Amara refused. Then Marcus repeated the request, saying it was only until departure. Amara placed the passport in the safe with her own hands. She did not see Celeste note the code over Marcus's shoulder. But that night the safe would not open. Celeste said Marcus had changed the code after a security audit. Marcus said he was tired and would open it in the morning. In the morning, Brielle announced she had suddenly been accepted into a European Summer Pathway program. "It's last minute," Brielle said, glowing. "But Mom fixed everything." "What visa is she using?" Celeste laughed softly. "Amara, not every trip is about you." For 2 days, Amara was denied access to the safe. Each excuse sounded reasonable alone. Together, the excuses became a wall. He looked exhausted. "Celeste said your departure was postponed." "My departure was not postponed. Orientation starts in 3 weeks. She said there was an issue with your documents." "I don't know, Amara. Please, I can't deal with this tonight." Amara searched Celeste's office and found her brown folder hidden behind gala invitations. Her admission letter was there. Scholarship papers, receipts, but the passport was missing. Amara walked to the staircase and saw Celeste, Brielle, and a travel consultant on speakerphone. Amara descended slowly. "What did you do?" Marcus appeared behind them, pale and confused. "What's going on?" Amara reached for her passport. Celeste pulled it back. Celeste sighed. "You were never ready for London. My name is on that visa." "Your name is on paper," Celeste said. "But this family paid for the process." He looked at Celeste, then at the floor. And in that silence, Amara understood. Her father had not planned it, but he had allowed it. For the first time, the mansion felt less like a home and more like a courtroom where Amara had already been sentenced. Brielle lifted the folder. "Mom found a way to transfer the opportunity." Brielle looked at the folder as if it were a ticket to a better identity, not evidence of someone else's sacrifice. "That's not how visas work," Amara said. "You can't just take mine and become me." Celeste's expression hardened. "Do not be dramatic. Brielle has a chance to reinvent herself. You will survive. Girls like you always do." Amara grabbed the passport from Celeste's hand. Then she opened it. The visa page had been removed. Amara held the damaged passport against her chest and cried without sound. "You should thank me," she whispered. "Now you can stop dreaming above your place. You think this is over because you destroyed a page." Celeste smiled faintly. "No, Amara, I think it is over because no one will believe you." At that exact moment, Amara's phone vibrated. "Amara, call me immediately. Westbridge just contacted me. Someone submitted a withdrawal request in your name." Her hands froze. And for the first time that night, Celeste looked afraid. She stood frozen. Celeste Whitfield's fear lasted less than a second. Then the mask returned. "What does the message say?" Marcus asked. Amara stepped backward, gripping the damaged passport so tightly that the paper bent beneath her fingers. Rain hit the mansion windows. While the grandfather clock near the staircase ticked loudly, Dr. Evelyn Carter had sent another message. "Call me now. Do not respond to anyone before we speak." Celeste crossed her arms calmly. "You should answer your mentor later. We're discussing family matters." "This stopped being family the moment you stole from me," Amara replied. Brielle rolled her eyes. "You're acting like someone died." "Something did." Marcus finally moved forward. "Celeste, tell me exactly what happened." Celeste looked at him with wounded elegance. The expression she used whenever she needed control without confrontation. "Marcus, your daughter is emotional. I was trying to protect both girls. By destroying my passport?" "You were not financially prepared to live abroad alone," Celeste said. "One mistake overseas could ruin your future." Brielle needed structure and guidance. The program suited her better. "That visa was attached to my admission. The university can be contacted." Amara stared at her in disbelief. "You really think institutions work like stolen jewelry?" Celeste's voice sharpened slightly. "Do not disrespect me in this house." "In this house?" Amara laughed bitterly. "I studied in this house while Brielle spent nights partying. I earned every document in that folder." Brielle stepped closer. "You always thought you were better than everybody." No, Amara said quietly. I just worked harder. The silence that followed hit harder than shouting. Marcus loosened his tie. Celeste, tell me you didn't file anything under Amara's name. Celeste hesitated. That hesitation answered everything. Amara opened the email fully. Westbridge University informed her that an online withdrawal request had been submitted 12 hours earlier from a private device. The sender claimed personal family circumstances prevented attendance and requested scholarship cancellation. Her stomach turned cold. They tried to erase me before I even left, she whispered. Dr. Carter called again. Amara answered immediately. Listen carefully, Dr. Carter said. Her voice remained calm, but Amara could hear urgency underneath. Do you still have your admission number? Yes. Good. Do you still have scanned copies of your scholarship documents? Yes. Then breathe. Universities and immigration offices track records carefully. Nothing disappears because one person says so. Celeste watched silently from across the room. Dr. Carter continued, Amara, I need you to understand something important. Student visas are connected to identity verification, biometric data, and institutional records. Nobody can legally transfer your visa to another person. Brielle's confidence flickered. But someone damaged my passport. That creates a problem, Dr. Carter admitted, but not the end. You must report the damage immediately and protect your records before anyone changes additional information. Celeste finally interrupted. You're filling her head with drama. Dr. Carter heard her through the phone. And you are? Her stepmother. I see, Dr. Carter replied. Then you should already know document tampering can carry criminal consequences. Marcus looked up sharply. Criminal? Celeste's composure cracked for the first time. Nobody tampered with anything. The visa page detached accidentally. Visa pages do not accidentally tear out of passports, Dr. Carter said coldly. Amara suddenly remembered the safe, the delayed excuses, the changed code, the hidden folder, the withdrawal request. This had not been impulsive. It had been planned. Her chest tightened with humiliation. She had spent years trying to earn love from people who only respected usefulness. Amara, Dr. Carter said gently, leave that house tonight. Marcus blinked. Leave? She needs space away from manipulation and pressure, and she needs to document everything immediately. Celeste stepped forward. You're overstepping. No, Dr. Carter answered. You already did. The call ended. For several seconds, nobody spoke. Then Brielle whispered, Mom, you said it wasn't illegal. Celeste turned toward her daughter instantly. Go upstairs. But now, Brielle disappeared without another word. Marcus sat down heavily on the leather sofa. Celeste, please tell me you didn't do this because Brielle was jealous. You always favor Amara emotionally, Celeste snapped. Do you know what it feels like watching your daughter come second in her own home? Marcus looked stunned. Second? Brielle has everything. She has attention, Celeste corrected. Not respect. Amara listened quietly. For years, she had believed Celeste hated her personally. Now she realized something darker. Celeste hated what Amara represented. Discipline. Potential. Proof that effort mattered more than image. Celeste looked toward Amara again. You think life rewards intelligence fairly? It doesn't. Connections matter. Timing matters. Presentation matters. You mean manipulation? I mean survival. Amara wiped her face slowly. No, survival is studying while everyone sleeps because education is your only escape route. The chandelier lights reflected across the marble floor, while thunder shook the mansion again. Brielle's bedroom door slammed. Marcus covered his face with both hands. How long has this been happening? Celeste laughed, but there was exhaustion in it now. Long before tonight. Amara remembered small things she once ignored. Scholarship emails disappearing from the printer tray, bank appointments suddenly rescheduled. Celeste insisting on controlling timelines. Brielle casually mentioning details she should never have known. Even the embassy appointment almost failed, because someone canceled her transport. Reservation hours before departure. It was never random. Why? Amara asked quietly. Celeste stared directly at her. Because girls like you leave. You study, succeed, travel, and never come back. Then people like Brielle become invisible beside you. Marcus lowered his hand slowly. You destroyed Amara's future to protect Brielle's ego? No, Celeste said. I delayed one future to save another. Amara almost laughed at the cruelty hidden inside that sentence. Her phone buzzed again. Unknown number, she answered cautiously. Miss Whitfield? A man asked. This is Daniel Reeves from Westbridge International Admissions. We received conflicting communications regarding your enrollment. Amara moved farther from Celeste instinctively. I never withdrew. I suspected that, Daniel said. Your mentor contacted our office. We flagged the request because the writing style didn't match previous submissions. Celeste's expression changed. Fear. Real fear, Daniel continued. You should also know somebody. Attempted to access your scholarship portal this afternoon. Marcus stood up immediately. Celeste. But Celeste did not answer him. She looked at Amara with calculation, measuring damage. Daniel lowered his voice. Miss Whitfield, if fraud occurred, protect every email, document, and screenshot. Universities take identity misuse seriously. I understand. And one more thing, he added. Your scholarship board chairman personally reviewed your academic file tonight. Amara swallowed hard. Why? Because very few applicants achieve your evaluation score. The room became silent. Daniel spoke carefully. Miss Whitfield, they don't want to lose you. Amara slowly lifted her eyes toward Celeste. For the first time since the betrayal began, the balance inside the mansion shifted, not because revenge arrived, but because the world outside that house was finally starting to see her value too. Amara barely slept that night. She locked herself inside the small guest room beside the east hallway, sitting on the floor with her laptop open while rain crawled down the mansion windows. Every few minutes she checked her email again, afraid the messages from Westbridge would suddenly disappear. But they stayed there, proof that her future had not completely collapsed. At 4:12 a.m., another message arrived from Dr. Evelyn Carter. Do not panic. Institutions move slowly, but records matter. Your work still exists. Amara stared at those words for a long time. Your work still exists. For 2 years, Celeste had slowly convinced her that effort meant nothing without approval from powerful people. Yet outside the mansion, strangers were fighting to protect opportunities Amara earned honestly. That realization hurt almost as much as the betrayal itself. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. Marcus entered quietly without waiting for permission. He looked older than usual, his shoulders heavy beneath a wrinkled white shirt. I brought tea, he said awkwardly. Amara closed the laptop. You brought tea after letting your wife destroy my life? Marcus flinched. I didn't know she'd go this far. But you knew she controlled everything. She was helping the family? No, Amara replied. You let her control the family because it was easier than confronting problems. Marcus sat carefully on the edge of the chair near the window. You think weakness is simple? No, I think silence becomes permission. The words landed hard. Marcus rubbed his forehead slowly. After your mother died, I didn't know how to hold things together. Celeste stepped in. She organized finances, schedules, business dinners, everything. And eventually she controlled you too. He said nothing. Amara remembered being 13 years old. Standing outside Marcus's office while Celeste calmly explained why Brielle deserved private tutoring and Amara should learn independence instead. Marcus had agreed, without even looking up from his desk. Back then it felt small. Now she understood those moments built the entire system. Did you know she filed the withdrawal request? Amara asked. No, but you still trusted her with my documents. Marcus closed his eyes briefly. I thought family meant trust. Family should mean protection. He looked ashamed. For the first time in years, Amara almost felt sorry for him. Marcus Whitfield was not evil. He was simply the kind of man who avoided conflict until stronger personalities ruled his life completely, and people like Celeste understood men like him perfectly. Downstairs, voices suddenly echoed through the hallway. Brielle was crying. I never asked for this, she shouted. Celeste answered sharply, Lower your voice. You said everything was legal. Because it should have been simple. Amara and Marcus exchanged a glance. Then another voice joined the argument. Dr. Evelyn Carter. Amara stood instantly. What is she doing here? Dr. Carter entered the mansion wearing a dark raincoat, carrying a leather folder beneath one arm. She looked completely calm despite the tension filling the house. Celeste descended the staircase slowly. "You invited yourself into my home?" "No," Dr. Carter replied. "Marcus invited me 20 minutes ago." Celeste turned toward Marcus with disbelief. Marcus avoided her eyes. That small act changed something inside the room. For years, Marcus followed Celeste's lead automatically. Now finally, he had chosen another side, even if weakly. Dr. Carter placed the leather folder on the dining table. "I spoke with legal advisors this morning." Celeste crossed her arms. "You're treating a family misunderstanding like a criminal case. A passport was damaged. Academic records were manipulated. Fraudulent withdrawal attempts were submitted. That goes beyond misunderstanding." Brielle looked pale. "Mom!" Celeste ignored her daughter completely. Dr. Carter opened the folder carefully. "Amara, sit down." Inside were printed copies of every document connected to her admission process. Scholarship confirmations, recommendation letters, embassy records, and correspondence from Westbridge. "You kept copies of all this?" "I teach students preparing for international programs," Dr. Carter said. "I learned years ago that paperwork disappears when insecure people feel threatened." Celeste's jaw tightened. Dr. Carter continued calmly. "Educational migration creates power shifts inside families. Sometimes relatives become supportive. Sometimes they become resentful." Brielle suddenly whispered, "You make us sound horrible." Dr. Carter looked at her kindly. "No, I make the situation honest." That honesty felt heavier than anger. Amara opened one of the printed reports. Her scholarship evaluation included comments from board members she had never seen before. Exceptional analytical ability, strong leadership potential, high resilience under pressure. Her throat tightened unexpectedly. Nobody inside the mansion had ever described her that way. Celeste noticed the emotion immediately. "Don't fill her head with fantasies. Thousands of students study abroad every year." "Yes," Dr. Carter replied. "But very few overcome obstacles like this without giving up." Amara looked down quickly, embarrassed by the praise. Celeste laughed softly. "You're turning her into a victim." "No," Dr. Carter said. "You already tried to turn her into one. I'm reminding her she still has choices." Marcus finally spoke again. "Can the visa be restored?" Dr. Carter nodded carefully. "Possibly. Damaged passports can be replaced. Universities can reverse fraudulent withdrawals after investigation, but rebuilding trust and timelines takes work." "How long?" Amara asked quietly. "Months, maybe longer." The answer crushed the room into silence. Months. Her London orientation would begin without her. Students across the world were preparing flights while Amara sat inside a mansion that suddenly felt like a prison, built from manipulation and delayed dreams. Brielle wiped tears from her face. "I didn't know she removed the visa page." Celeste snapped toward her daughter. "Stop talking." "No!" Brielle shouted suddenly. "I'm tired of this." Everyone froze. Brielle looked at Amara with trembling guilt. "Mom told me you plan to abandon the family forever," she said. "Dad secretly preferred you and that this scholarship would make everyone forget me." Amara stared silently. "I believed her," Brielle admitted. "I thought, if I finally became successful too, maybe things would feel balanced." Dr. Carter spoke softly. "Comparison destroys families faster than poverty ever could." Celeste's voice hardened dangerously. "Brielle, enough." But Brielle kept talking, years of frustration spilling out uncontrollably. "You always compared us." Every dinner, every grade, every compliment, everything became competition. Celeste looked furious now, not elegant. "Because the world compares women constantly," she replied coldly. "Pretty girls get attention. Intelligent girls get opportunities. Connected girls survive. And what about kind girls?" Amara asked quietly. Celeste paused. For the first time since the confrontation began, she had no answer. A long silence followed. Then Dr. Carter turned toward Amara carefully. "Pack a bag." Celeste immediately stepped forward. "She's not leaving this house dramatically. She needs distance and safety. This is still her family." "No," Amara said softly. "This is a system." The sentence stunned everyone. Because it was true, the mansion functioned through control. Silence, favoritism, and emotional negotiation. Love existed only when convenient. Amara walked upstairs slowly toward her room. Halfway down the hallway, her phone vibrated again. Unknown number, she answered cautiously. Miss Whitfield? The man said. My name is Noah Bennett. I work with the Westbridge Global Scholars Network. Amara stopped walking. I reviewed your case this morning, Noah continued. And honestly, what happened to you shouldn't have happened at all. His voice sounded calm, intelligent, careful with words. Amara leaned against the wall quietly. Noah continued. I know this sounds strange, but several people here are discussing your situation already. Why? Because resilience matters, he replied. And because somebody tried very hard to erase a student our institution considered extraordinary. Downstairs, thunder shook the mansion again. Noah lowered his voice slightly. Miss Whitfield, before you make your next move, there's something important you need to know. Amara's heartbeat slowed. What is it? The scholarship board may have found another pathway for you. Amara stopped breathing for a moment. The board found what? She asked carefully. Downstairs, voices still echoed through the mansion, but they suddenly felt far away, like noise behind thick glass. Noah Bennett's voice remained calm on the phone. Nothing is guaranteed yet, but your academic file created a strong reaction here. Amara leaned against the hallway wall, exhausted. I don't understand. You were ranked unusually high during final scholarship review, Noah explained. Your essays, recommendation letters, interview evaluations, leadership reports, they stood out. Amara closed her eyes briefly. For months inside the Whitfield mansion, she had been treated like a burden competing for permission to dream. Hearing strangers discuss her potential with respect felt almost unreal. Noah continued. When the withdrawal request appeared, several faculty members questioned it immediately. Because the writing style changed? That was part of it. But mostly because your mentor spoke highly of your discipline. People who fight that hard rarely disappear overnight without explanation. Amara swallowed carefully. So what happens now? The university cannot restore a damaged passport for you, Noah said. But there may be another option, involving deferred enrollment and emergency sponsorship support. Her heartbeat quickened. Deferred enrollment, that meant her future might be delayed, not destroyed. But before she could answer, Celeste's voice suddenly echoed from downstairs. Amara! Noah paused. Is everything all right there? Amara looked toward the staircase. No. Then listen carefully, Noah said. Protect yourself emotionally before protecting opportunities. People recover from delayed careers faster than emotional abuse. Those words hit harder than he probably intended. Because deep down, Amara knew the visa betrayal was not the true wound. The real wound was realizing she had spent years begging for fairness inside a house that rewarded manipulation instead of integrity. I should go, she whispered. One more thing, Noah added. Amara waited quietly. You are not behind in life because someone sabotaged you. Some journeys simply begin through detours. The call ended. Amara remained still for several seconds before walking downstairs again. The atmosphere inside the mansion had changed completely. Marcus sat silently near the fireplace. Brielle looked emotionally drained. Dr. Carter reviewed documents at the dining table, and Celeste stood near the massive windows, staring into the storm outside like someone calculating survival. When Celeste turned around, her composure looked thinner than before. You're leaving? She asked. Yes. For how long? Amara picked up her bag slowly. Long enough to remember who I am without this house. Celeste crossed her arms tightly. You're being dramatic again. No, Dr. Carter interrupted calmly. She's creating boundaries. Celeste ignored her completely. Do you know what happens to young women alone in foreign systems? Immigration offices reject people every day. Scholarships disappear. Employers exploit desperate students. Amara stared at her quietly. For years, Celeste used fear as love. Fear of failure. Fear of poverty. Fear of rejection. But now the strategy sounded weaker somehow. You taught me something important, Amara said softly. Celeste blinked slightly. What? That insecurity makes people crueler than hardship does. The words landed heavily. Marcus lowered his head. Brielle looked away immediately. Even Dr. Carter remained silent. Because everyone inside the room knew the statement was true, Celeste stepped closer slowly. You think the world will reward goodness? It won't. I know, Amara replied. But at least I'll fail honestly. That answer broke something invisible between them forever. For the first time, Celeste looked uncertain, not because she feared consequences, but because she realized control was slipping away permanently. Amara turned toward Brielle next. You could have told me. Brielle's eyes filled with tears again. I know. But you didn't. I spent my whole life trying to win a competition Mom created. That competition was never real. Brielle looked shattered by those words. Because somewhere deep down she already understood them. Marcus finally stood up slowly. Amara. She looked at him quietly. I failed you. The honesty surprised everyone. Marcus swallowed hard before continuing. I confused peace with leadership. I thought avoiding conflict kept the family together. No, Amara said gently. It just kept problems hidden longer. Marcus nodded weakly, accepting the truth. Then he reached into his pocket and removed a small silver key. The downtown apartment, he said. Your mother bought it years ago before she died. I kept paying for it quietly. Amara froze. What? She wanted it to belong to you one day. Celeste turned sharply toward Marcus. You never told me about that property. I know. For the first time in years, Marcus. Whitfield looked like a man making his own decision instead of asking permission. It's fully furnished, he continued. Stay there while everything gets sorted. Amara stared at the key in disbelief, not because of the apartment itself, but because hidden beneath all Marcus's weakness, some small part of him had still protected a piece of her mother's legacy. Dr. Carter smiled faintly. Good. That gives us stability. Us? Celeste repeated coldly. Yes, Dr. Carter answered. Because rebuilding a future takes community, not control. Thunder shook the mansion once more. Amara looked around the house carefully. The marble floors, the chandelier lights, the expensive silence. For years she believed escaping this mansion would automatically make her happy. Now she understood something more complicated. Physical freedom meant nothing without emotional freedom too. She walked toward the front doors slowly. Then Celeste spoke one final time. You leave now, and the world will humble you. Amara paused. Without turning around, she answered quietly. Maybe. But at least the world will judge me for who I am, not for who you needed me to become. And with that, she stepped outside. Cold rain touched her face immediately. Dr. Carter followed beside her, carrying the document folder carefully, protected beneath her coat. Marcus remained frozen inside the doorway. Brielle cried silently near the staircase, and Celeste stood completely alone beneath the chandelier she once ruled under effortlessly. As Dr. Carter loaded the luggage into her car, Amara looked back one final time, not with hatred, not even with revenge, but with clarity. The impossible had not happened yet. No miracle had saved her. No billionaire secretly appeared. No magical revenge destroyed her enemies overnight. Instead, something quieter had begun. Truth, distance, documentation, education, discipline. The kinds of things that rebuild lives slowly but permanently. Amara entered the passenger seat quietly. Dr. Carter started the engine. Where do we begin? Amara asked softly.